federal government is preparing to rescue the widows and children of Australian terrorists who went overseas to fight for Islamic State. The 20 women and 40 children have been held in detention camps and refugee camps in northeast Syria for up to 3 years. It's understood most of the women won't face any charges when and if they return to Australia after they were trafficked or coerced by relatives to enter Syria. Let me bring in Dr Jamal Rifi, a New South Wales-based GP and Muslim community leader who's been instrumental and outspoken in combating extremism. Great to talk to you again, Jamal. Just first up on this, you know some of the families involved in this. Do you have any misgivings about these women and children coming back to Australia?
Not at all. I know probably most of those family, and I also know some of the ones who are already there. And I believe it is about time for them to be repatriated. We don't need to rescue them because they've done extremely good job in the last 3.5 years, supporting each other and surviving in a very difficult situation and in the camp itself. But they definitely need to be repatriated, at least for the sake of those children. We definitely have 20 families and 37 children from Australian mothers and 2 children from non-Australian mother. But their situation and their health has deteriorated over this time. They actually have, some of them have shrapnel wounds that they haven't been treated. Some of them, they developed diabetes. One of them is type 1 diabetes, that is no insulin afforded on a continuous basis. And the majority, they have malnutrition, they are underweight, and at least a handful of them, their growth is stunted. Those children need to be returned because they are Australian citizens.
Jamal, there's no doubt that the situation they're in now is horrendous and their future there would be bleak. They'll have a much better future in Australia. They'll need all sorts of medical support, psychological support, educational support and the like. Do you have any fears about radicalisation of any of the older children or their mothers? Because you know full well how anti-radicalisation measures so often have failed.
Without any doubt, my belief 100% that the safety and security of all Australian is as important to me as everyone else. I feel repatriating those women and their kids, that will make our Australia safe. If there is any one of them that will pose any risk now, in the past, or even in the future, then we can put them through the court, we can lock them up, we can put them in the prison. There is no doubt about it. But some of them, and the majority of them, they ended up there of fault of not their own. There are some women who went there as a teenagers, and the minute they got there, they got married, and then their husbands died, then they were forced to remarry again. Some of them, they were tricked into getting into Syria, and some of them were coerced to get into Syria. But the majority, from my understanding, from people, their family who are living here, the majority have contacted their family at some times after their arrival, and they say, my God, I want to go back home. That's not exactly, I don't want to be here.
Yep.
And I reckon they pose risk. But even if they do, we have our security agency, our intelligence agency, our police. It's actually to monitor them. And it's not that difficult because there is only 20 adults that they are coming back. The rest are minors. And at the same time, we have their family and their network in here. That
exactly, so they'll get that support.
There will be our eyes and ears about them. And to be honest, all these 20 women, Chris, they have voluntarily consented to sign and control order upon their arrival in Australia. And a couple of weeks ago, our ASIO agents, they went and visited them in a Rouge camp. Yeah. And they have conducted an interview with them. The security assessed them, and they came back with a big tick that they should be repatriated. And I counsel everyone who's actually involved in the decision maker to make their repatriation sooner rather than later, and to bring them all in one lot, not on stages.
Great to get your perspective, Jamal. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kenny.